Kitchen Princess is a series I didn't know existed a year ago. I don't have any nostalgia attached to this manga, and it wasn't on my radar, but when it was recommended to me by several of you guys on the basis of it being a cute, fun shoujo and having every recipe from the story at the end of each volume, I knew that 1, I had to read it for myself, and 2, I had to do something a bit ambitious.
I'm making all of them.
Hi, I'm Imani, and welcome to A Magical Corner. Kitchen Princess would be nothing without Najika's introduction to flan. She was crying at the foster home she lived in when she was little. She falls into a lake almost drowning. A boy saves her and gives her his flan.
It's the most intimidating thing ever.
The boy tells her, when you eat something good, you smile. And now she's on a mission to make the best dessert ever for this mystery boy, the Flan Prince. I made flan for a previous video. Lots of people told me that the Japanese pudding was actually just flan, but the method listed in this manga was different from last time, using a stovetop steamer rather than an oven. They took longer to cook than the suggested time, probably something to do with the cups I used, but it was just a game of patience. And I kind of nailed it again, I'm not gonna lie. I only wish I had whipped cream to go with it. My spoon. There were no pores, it wasn't too rubbery. The caramel cooked for like 3 seconds too long. It's so challenging to make, but at least it wasn't too bitter. It was edible. It was fine. The tara masalada I was excited to make because it was the first savory dish from the group I was making. The recipe calls for mayo, and I made sure to get Japanese mayo because I know there's a difference. I also had the pleasure of buying salmon roe for the first time. I've seen it on sushi before, but I've never had it.
We'll see.
Najika makes this when Akane, a mean girl, purposely causes Najika to knock over her lunch. Yeah, the bullying at this new school is already getting started.
It smells like science class, but like the science class that you do when you dissected something. Yeah, that's exactly what it smells like. It literally smells like biology.
Hi, Mama.
Oh, that's why you're here. Mama, are you curious about the fish smell? Does it smell like fish? Does it smell like fish, Mama?
I tried to make it look as similar to the picture as possible, and I think I nailed it. But what is beauty without flavor? So let's get our pictures out of the way, and it's time to finally taste this. It's very rare that I encounter a food that I just straight up cannot eat. The only thing I can think of is okra, so I was really trying to be, an adult about it, eat the food regardless, and see if I could change my mind on it.
I don't like it.
Not to mention the disconnect between the authentic pictures on Google versus what I made. I thought surely this is user error, but I followed the recipe, so I just gotta try something different next time. Rectify this thing.
I know it's good.
Rainbow jelly I was so excited for, especially because I could pick out my juices of choice. I tried to go as rainbow yet natural-ish as possible. Okay, they're not natural juices, but I tried. A couple of people on my socials recommended I use butterfly pea flower tea for my blue drink, and I was thankful because I was about to use blue Gatorade, for real. The rainbow jelly appears when Najika attempts to bring the two brothers, Sora and Daichi, together despite their strained relationship, connecting the earth and sky with a rainbow. Her mind.
So pretty. Whee! Oh my gosh, I love it.
As simple as it looks, this was the most time-consuming dessert. It's an all-day process, melting gelatin, letting it cool so it doesn't explode in the glass I'm putting it in.
It says tart cherry juice.
In the end, it came out more natural looking than I thought it maybe would have. Part of me is like, maybe I should have used the crazy artificial colors, but I think it's endearing this way. It's a natural rainbow drink, and it's perfect for Pride Month, so I was happy. I actually don't even like Jell-O that much, and somehow the flavors were flattened in Jell-O form rather than being in drink form, so I really don't know how that worked out, but it was good regardless. I tried my best to get to the very bottom of the glass. It was fine. Today we are doing Christmas cookies in June. Add sugar. The bullying gets really severe in this chapter. The characters push Najika and her cake down and rip her dress from off of her. It's really distressing to read, actually. But Sora is there to remind Najika that she can shine in her own way, and she makes cookies for the students, remembering that she wants to see the smiles of people who eat her food. I'm glad Najika overcame her struggles, but I was not spared in the making of these cookies.
Ooh. Oh dear.
I had no idea what was going on. I followed the recipe's half cup of flour instruction, but I thought maybe it needed more time in the fridge or the freezer because this was not cute.
Ugh.
Whatever, let me just wash dishes and come back to it in the evening. Many hours passed, and with the dough being in the fridge all that time, I was like, okay, this is it. Time to get these cookies done and over with.
Girl, stop sticking. Why is this the worst bat I've ever dealt with in my life?
It was almost like it was melting in my hands as I was dealing with it.
Why is it like this? What?
I moved on to my last resort, adding more flour. How much flour exactly? Yes. I saw someone on a review page for the recipe say the same thing, so it wasn't just me.
Okay, maybe we can work with this now.
And let me show you how the single true to recipe cookie turned out. Yeah. Never did I think I would struggle so hard on sugar cookies. I've made tons before in my life, but these were pretty decent cookies anyway. I gave the rest to my coworkers. A very interesting experience, to say the least. Nothing says summer quite like a hot bowl of soup from a manga. By this point in the story, Najika is being bullied so badly, the spoon she was given by her flan prince was stomped on by Akane, that she's ready to leave the school altogether. Before she goes, she makes Daichi a soup to warm him up during the cold winter. Quite literally the opposite season, but that's fine. I love French onion soup.
Ah. Ah. Ugh.
These onions were getting me so badly. I've never experienced such pain so strong from an onion before. When I used to live on Long Island, there was this small restaurant that made the best French onion soup.
Better female protagonist.
They also had the best chicken tenders, but that soup is like a core memory. I've never had another one like it since. And I only just started eating dairy again a year ago, so I haven't had French onion soup in well over a decade. The recipe calls for a half cup of cheese, and I definitely grated too much, but you can also never have too much cheese. It also tells you to oven toast it, which I think just means broiling, so I did that for 4 minutes and it was done.
Yum yum. It just got super dark. It's so hot.
Now let me tell you, this soup is an experience. This soup was so good, I made it again the very next day. It's so simple, and maybe it's the Gruyere cheese doing most of the flavor work, but I'm glad I now know how to make one of my favorite soups. I will definitely be revisiting in the winter. Up next is our first recipe involving the use of cocoa powder.
This one requires the use of a scale because that's how they did this recipe for some reason. Why are some of the... Where's the consistency?
When publishing a Japanese manga into English, there are certainly already things that get lost in translation. This manga just so happens to have recipe measurements on top of that.
You take some of the dough, squeeze it in your fist, and then roll it with both of your hands. It'll come out good.
The recipe creator Miyuki Kobayashi had to make note of this in the manga because seeing the batter doesn't give you a lot of confidence. But I actually really enjoyed doing this once I sat down by the window and could relax. It was like playing in kinetic sand. So Najika makes these as a thank you to the brothers for stopping her from leaving the academy and making her a terribly burnt breakfast the next morning. It's not so much the taste, it's the gesture.
Look at how cutie-ful!
Isn't it cutie-ful, Mama? She's so cutie-ful.
These really do melt in your mouth like the book says, and the almond flour gives it a nutty flavor that I just really loved.
Very good. Mama! Ow.
We're moving on to the main diva, the crowd favorite, strawberry shortcake.
So useless.
I was pumped. Akane makes the mistake of saying she'd acknowledge Najika's skills if a professional chef approved of her, and Sora arranges an entire competition between the two based on this. This was yet another recipe with somewhat vague instructions.
The recipe tells you to whip it up, but what's that even mean? Whip it up to what?
Now, I've never made a strawberry shortcake before, but I remembered in the manga how Najika panicked when Akane knocked over her eggs, and Daichi ended up helping her to save her time. Something told me I'd be here a while.
I think I did pretty well for vague instructions.
But I spoke too soon. Turns out this recipe doesn't even tell you how long to put the cake in the oven for.
Okay, like, ugh. Okay.
I guess I'll be here for a while too.
Did I do that right? The picture was so vague. It still doesn't look ready to me, but I tried the toothpick test and it came out clean, so...
I'll admit the cake itself didn't rise as much as I was expecting to, but if that's user error, I did the best with what I had. It's covered in whipped cream frosting anyway, which in itself was so relaxing to do. It felt like I was doing an art project. I really liked this part. I thought about decorating it like the picture, but I had my own idea.
Yay!
Strawberry flour shortcake. It tastes almost as good as it looks.
Look, it's so pretty like a flower.
I was going to say you can't go wrong with strawberries and whipped cream, but you most certainly can, I know from experience. With the professional chef and all of her classmates finally acknowledging her, Najika can now gain a little more confidence in her skills. And finding that confidence is not always easy. It's nice to have someone there to encourage you. And let me be that person for you and tell you about today's sponsor, Skillshare.
From graphic designers, professional illustrators, successful entrepreneurs, and more, Skillshare is a platform where you can learn the basics of hundreds of mediums from real, world-class, super talented creatives. I had a lot of leftover paintbrushes from my last video, and I wanted to put them to good use. So I decided to take up watercolor painting. I literally hadn't done this since middle school, so I didn't know much of what to expect here. But I took a class by Yasmina Creates on painting magical art at a beginner level, and she was so clear and concise in teaching just basic watercolor techniques like lifting, gradients, and layering that I now basically understand watercolor painting better than I ever did when I was in middle school. No offense to my art teachers, I still love you. And if this isn't magical, then I don't know what is. So if honing your trade or hobby at your own pace sounds like something you want to do, check out Skillshare risk-free with a 7-day free trial and a 30-day money-back guarantee. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen will receive 20% off of their first year of Skillshare. And thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video.
The next 3 chapters of Kitchen Princess contain plot points revolving around a very sensitive topic, eating disorders. If this could be triggering for you, feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen, and I'll see you there. Viewer discretion is advised.
Against my better judgment, I'm making the cake of rice. What serving is a bowl of rice? 4 to 5 bowls of rice. Whatever. Doing my usual rice with my usual jasmine rice. And I've already been through the ringer, so you don't even know. You don't even know.
At this point, I'd already made an upcoming recipe involving rice, so I was a little riced out, but I wasn't going down without a fight.
Some of this is crazy. 1 tablespoon of sugar? Are you sure?
Najika makes a cake of rice to thank Daichi for helping her during the strawberry shortcake competition. But upon seeing Akane struggle at a photo shoot, having not eaten all day, she convinces him to share it with Akane instead. I thought the idea of a cake of rice was so neat, and I was so excited to try it, but even more excited for the 4 servings of food it would give me for the next couple of days.
So I got these sprouts yesterday, and they say they're organic spicy radish sprouts. And when I looked on Google while I was at the store, because I was like, spicy, turns out that radish sprouts are just naturally spicy. And I stood there Googling for a very long time because I was like, how spicy?
The answer is it was on the shelf, so it has to be ingestible in some way.
I'm putting the egg in for an extra minute because I don't like runny egg.
This was honestly one of the prettiest recipes in my opinion. The colors of the egg, the carrot, and the sprouts just came together really nicely. Even if it didn't go onto the plate as nicely. And it was really delicious. The sweetness of the egg with the ginger and the ground turkey I used, it's such a nice light eat. And I definitely want to make this again.
We're gonna do the yogurt mousse next.
This yogurt mousse definitely wasn't my first go around with making mousse on my channel.
Plain yogurt.
But I finally learned a thing or two from those experiences, and the biggest one is you gotta be quick.
Now it wants me to hand whip this, and I'm like,
I wanted to keep it as manga authentic as possible, like maybe I can hand whip the heavy cream like the picture on the manga page.
oh yeah, no way is this gonna happen. Screw that. Screw that.
I was curious how this one would taste with yogurt. The reason why it's the main ingredient is because of Najika making it specifically for Akane, who, struggling with an eating disorder and the stress of being a model, hasn't been able to digest anything.
Clump lump free, clump lump free.
Even through their disputes, Najika doesn't want to see Akane suffer, and that just speaks to the kind of person Najika is. And she is a kind person who made a delicious dessert. So refreshing to eat. With the window open and the wind blowing through and the birds chirping.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was perfect. This was one of my favorites for sure.
Peach pie, peach pie, peach pie, peach pie.
There is one food Sora and Daichi know Akane will eat, her grandmother's peach pie.
Two crusts.
This feels like the perfect summer dessert, so I was more than ready. I was also ready because of how easy this was. Akane's grandmother used canned peaches and frozen pie crust to make it quicker rather than making it from scratch, because who really has time for all of that in this economy? I'd never made a fruit pie on my own before, but I was so excited to do the cross-section crust look for some reason. It was so satisfying. I was so proud of myself.
Oh, look at how cute it looks. It's looking so good.
This was one of the easiest recipes and easily one of the most delicious. It just goes to show you that it doesn't take a ton of ingredients to make good food. And knowing that this pie made by Najika is what ushers Akane onto the road to recovery makes it that much sweeter.
Yay. Wow. I'm so excited to have drinks. Non-alcoholic.
Rainbow soda, magic iced coffee, and a yogurt drink courtesy of a bonus chapter.
Yeah. Look at the cute little ice tray I bought.
for the rainbow soda. So cute! Flowers!
The two brothers are tired from being pulled every which way, and Nachika makes Sora an iced coffee, Daichi a yogurt drink, and the boys make her a rainbow soda in return. But one thing about me is, I don't drink coffee if it isn't decaf.
It has 3 ingredients: water, sugar, coffee. I'm not gonna drink too much of this. I tried so many new things at this point. A little black coffee wouldn't hurt, to be honest. I don't know about this.
The yogurt drink was even more quizzical. 4 basic ingredients. I thought, I don't know how this is gonna taste. The rainbow soda recipe calls for cider, and I was so excited to find apple soda at my local Asian convenience store, but
Not gonna lie, I was expecting a different color.
like, I guess it's still rainbow soda, but I thought the fruit juice would make the drink change color. Whatever. There was no getting the magic iced coffee wrong. Possibly the most straightforward recipe in the whole series. I was most curious about the yogurt drink by this point. It's like a smoothie and a milkshake at the same time. I gotta know.
I thought it was gonna be clear at least. It's nice, it makes it taste extra fruity. But I guess I should know what the original drink tastes like. It's kind of the same. This is iced coffee, which I don't drink. If I drink coffee, it's only decaf, and I certainly don't drink black coffee. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's probably the brand, but I'm definitely not gonna drink all of this. I know what coffee does to me. And then the yogurt drink. Well, it's certainly all of the ingredients mixed together.
And yet, I couldn't seem to stop drinking it.
Why do I really like it? Okay, I'm gonna rank them. This one's last. It's just iced coffee. This one gets points for prettiness. And I love the idea. I think that's so cute. I was so excited for this one. It tastes fine. And this one is, I thought it was gonna be more like a smoothie, and it is. Putting regular water ice cubes in here is crazy though. I think it depends on your mood. This reminds me of like being outside in the summer by the pool. This is like a comfort drink. I don't know which one I prefer. I think they're tied. And then this isn't bad. It's not bad. The brand of coffee that I chose was a winner.
All in all, this was one of the more fun recipes. Welcome to Volume 3, where we will be starting off with polka dot pancakes. I was very excited this day, not just because this recipe was going to be my breakfast, but because it was actually the first recipe I made in this entire project. At the start of Volume 3, Najika makes pancakes for Sora, who's always cooped up doing administrative work at night. It's such a sweet moment. She brings him comfort in the form of food, and he sees Najika as a shoulder to lean on, literally.
Ooh, wow, these are thick. Wait.
All that flour made for the thickest pancake batter I've ever seen.
That's a really thick pancake. Ooh, that's a lot. It feels like very floury.
But this was my first recipe, so I just trusted the process.
Some blueberries.
What I learned is that this amount of flour is really what makes these pancakes appear thick and fluffy.
Oh my god. Oh. Looks better than I thought it would. Okay. Oh wow. My goodness.
And boy, were they thick. Gorgeous, but honestly very dense. If you plan to cook these, make sure you use a lid while cooking because these babies are so thick, you risk undercooking them if you don't. But they were tasty. I liked them. The batter could have used some salt though. I won't lie.
On the same day as the massive tara masalata failure, I had the pleasure of making a much more pleasant tasting treat, the rolled sandwiches from chapter 12.
Oh, it still smells like fish. I can't.
Hopefully this would make up for it. I mean, you can't get a sandwich wrong, right? I'm more familiar with fruit sandwiches being made with whipped cream, so I was surprised to see cottage cheese on the ingredients list. I'd never had it before, but I've heard good things.
Ooh, they smell good.
So pretty and colorful, you can't help but take a picture. The second sandwich was peanut butter banana, and I mean, who hasn't had this before, am I right? But again, you can't possibly get it wrong, and I appreciate that. I also tried to do some pretty packaging, and an attempt was made.
This is for the apple cake. Oh!
She's clumsy, but she can put together a sandwich. I made sure to eat these outside, just like the customers Najika made these for in chapter 12, and it was a refreshing moment outside of the kitchen. The flavors were subtle but went together well. This is why the Fujita diner didn't get shut down. They hit me with a 2-hit combo for chapter 13, and then I added the next chapter's recipe on top of that.
And what's really awesome is that it doesn't give you the temperature to set your oven to. That's always really fun and great.
The banana cream puffs and rose ginger ale and the carrot cake both happen when Najika and the boys visit Hokkaido for a couple of days, so it made sense to do them in congruence with each other. But I'll be honest, I didn't plan it this way, it just kind of happened. The carrot cake was super simple to put together, and this was my second time ever making cream puffs, so I was curious how they'd come out with this different recipe. It's a relief when Najika's caretaker, Hajio-sensei, is in good health, and Najika makes her favorite cream puffs in celebration. And the next chapter over, Hajio and the kids at the Lavender House make a carrot cake to prove to Najika that they're capable of taking care of each other while she's away at school.
We're gonna move on to the rose ginger ale.
And you best believe I still have rose water left over from the Yume Pati video. But the vanilla bean sticks were a nightmare to find and an even bigger nightmare to pay for.
These are too expensive to be getting under my nail. Like, no way.
Making ginger ale from scratch was a really different experience for me, but one look at it and I knew it would be refreshing. And here are our finished products. It was a happy accident that these came together at the same time, but the way I see it, it was just fate having its hand.
Ooh.
The rose ginger ale is a clear winner. The rose water is pretty diluted with the strength of the ginger flavor, but the vanilla keeps it mild overall. Oh, it's genius. The banana cream puffs were okay. I was just happy they cooked it all, to be honest. And the carrot cake was more like carrot bread than anything, if that makes sense. Like banana bread, but with carrot. Different from the carrot cake I'm used to having, and not too sweet, but pretty decent. Mont Blanc, a recipe specifically for Sora. I was so happy to find roasted chestnuts. I thought they'd be a seasonal item.
That's sorta kinda not a cup.
It'll be fine. No way was I leaving to go to the store again. Funny thing about this recipe, it only gives instructions to make the icing, but doesn't tell you to make your own cupcakes. I saw my chance, and I took it.
Box cake. Cost effective.
Hey, they didn't tell you how to acquire your cupcake base. I actually used this box cake for another upcoming recipe, so I really killed 2 birds with 1 stone with this one. I was happy. To wish him good luck in his piano competition, Najika makes these for Sora, saying he can overcome any mountain. Najika is so cute. Now, mine didn't really come out like the photos I've seen online, and maybe the chestnut cream needed more milk, but I was pretty pleased regardless. The cross section looked good, and that was good enough for me. We now enter the Omu Rice chapter and possibly the most irritating arc in the manga yet.
Mama.
I call this arc the watch debacle. It's just a lot of miscommunication, misunderstandings, things that could have been solved with a simple conversation. But it's never that easy, is it? If anyone has tips to avoid the tears from cutting onions, please do not hesitate to comment down below. In hindsight, I wish I'd halved this recipe because it calls for 2 cups of rice, which is a lot. The leftovers were overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting crepe flashbacks. But let me stay calm and trust the process. Najika knows Daichi likes rice and she wants him to try this new Fujita diner menu recipe, but he won't talk to her because he thinks she gave away the watch that he didn't tell her he bought for her, and she doesn't even know because Akane stole the watch in question and she's wearing Sora's watch. It's just a mess. I hate plots like this. And it wasn't until editing this video that I realized I forgot to add the green peas to the rice. Watch debacle be damned. It's time to make up with our friends.
But like, look at how big this is. This is super small. I appreciate that there was thought put into these recipes in that regard. Maybe not in some other regards, but at least in that regard.
You've probably noticed by now, but the portion sizes for these cakes and meals are relatively small and manageable. As someone working through all of them, I appreciate that I'm not baking like 12-inch cakes every few days.
I don't want it to be chunky. I'm gonna get
The electric hand mixer, Old Faithful. But I just think the portion sizes were highly considered in the making of this manga, and I really appreciate that. When Najika was young and fought with a friend, her mom would make her an apple snack. So, an apple cake is befitting of the situation between her and Daichi.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. is definitely not done.
I was skeptical because the only thing that makes this cake unique is the baked-in apples, but we tore this thing up. It was so simple but good. The cocoa scones from chapter 18 were something I made on the first day and was the first recipe using cocoa powder, so I was a little curious.
Oh my god.
Curiosity satiated. This chapter I find kind of funny because by the time the drama has come to pass, you've forgotten what the main dessert of the chapter even is. But Nachika shares these with Akane after they get into a fight that ends with the both of them in the nurse's office. The start of a new friendship, but not gonna lie, still satisfying to see Nachika finally fight back.
What the heck? This is so crumbly. Huh?
Between these and the macaroons, I've come to learn that cocoa takes time to adhere to other ingredients.
Now it's coming together.
I used a wine glass to make the 2-inch diameter discs, and I was really pleased with how they came out. Just like the manga says, these don't contain a lot of sugar, so pairing them with honey or jam makes them a little sweeter, but overall they're a nice little snack and have an even better texture the next day. Fruit agar is the recipe that closes out volume 4.
I think that you're moving on the floor.
Canned fruit.
And it says some. What does some mean? Put actual measurements. I can't take it. Why? I can't.
Nachika has now moved on to the next round of a national confectionery competition.
I think the normal one's a kitty cat.
There are only 2 instructions. It has to be a dessert made with fruit, and it must fall under the category sweets made for a friend. I'd never heard of agar before doing this, and I was surprised by what it reminded me of.
It smells like a rainforest cafe.
If you know, you know. 2 flavors had to be made for this one, caramel agar and milk agar. And I feel like I did not get as lucky with making caramel as I did in my last baking video. It was just stress every time. Like, I followed the instructions and put it in an ice bath, but then some of it got stuck to the bottom of the pan. Counterintuitive. Whatever, it was enough to continue the recipe. The milk one was thankfully much easier, no caramel making required. I was really pushing it with this container, but it's all I had. Agar is gelatin-like in consistency, made from plants, and is said to be low in calorie, so the friend Najika made this for was none other than Akane. And I love how when she was told this, she turned beet red. Maybe this was the true Kishin princess romance all along. After a long day, I got comfy and ate this in bed, and the taste is okay. The flavors are subtle and the texture I'm not used to, but it's interesting. And with Daichi kissing Najika by surprise at the end of the chapter, we are left on a cliffhanger with this volume. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think it ends here? We can't finish this off without another fun bonus story recipe. My first time ever making tiramisu is thanks to this manga, and it's a really simple but effective cake. Again, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I got the decaf just to be safe.
Is this a tablespoon? Do you think this is a tablespoon?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
When will I ever learn? This bonus story features Komugi, a girl who's transitioning into the afterlife, who wants to make a dessert for her friend who she fought with before she died.
Fingers.
She's clumsy, so Fujita comes up with the idea to make a cake without the need of a knife or oven. And I truly understand why Fujita suggested this cake. It was so easy. Shout out to my box cake. I can't recall if I've ever had tiramisu before, which sounds crazy, I know. Like, maybe I have and I don't remember, but I was expecting to be more blown away by the flavors. The coffee is the strongest, and I was like, where's the sugar in this cream cheese filling?
How much sugar did I put in the cream cheese? It literally feels like I'm just eating a block of cream cheese. 1 teaspoon. And yet I can't stop eating it, okay?
It's an addicting cake, and a perfect one to close on. Let's go through the best of this first part of my Kitchen Princess series, the All-Stars. Peach pie. I thought about it every day after I made it. So good. Onion gratin soup. This is now going to be a staple in my kitchen. Chocolate macaroons. These were just delightful. Yogurt mousse. So refreshing. Ugh, I loved it. Strawberry shortcake. I was just proud of how this came out. Rose ginger ale. Just so awesome and unique. Ginger ale is already my favorite soft drink. The syrup keeps for 2 weeks. I know what I'm drinking. The fall stars. Do I even need to say it? This was tons of fun. I loved getting to try so many new things I've never done before, and I hope this inspires you to do the same. But it doesn't stop here. We've still got so much more Kitchen Princess story and recipes to try, so stay tuned for the next installment of my Kitchen Princess series. I post little updates on my Instagram of my progress going through the manga, so you can follow me there. But until Volume 5, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for being here, and until next time, I'll see you in my dreams. Bye, friend.